Welcome to Community Roundtable. I'm Nick Burns from the Salt Lake Community College Communication Department, and I'm your host as we explore topics of special interest and of special concern to all the residents of the cities and the unincorporated areas of Salt Lake County. Topics that we believe are equally important to the general public throughout all of Utah. And today on the show, we welcome Taylorsville Mayor Larry Johnson and City Administrator John Taylor. The mayor comes to politics for many years as a local small business owner, and we'll talk about his plans for Taylorsville economic development. But beyond economics, what's the mayor's vision for the future of the city? Also, Taylorsville has some newly designed roads and traffic flows. We'll find out how city residents are adjusting to those changes. What's new in Taylorsville today on Community Roundtable? So, Mayor, thanks for doing this.
Thank you.
And thank you as well.
Thank you.
And I want to just jump in here. From the mayor's chair, you know, you come to this from a small business background. So
Correct.
what was your life business before politics?
My life was in the tire business. I owned a
Okay.
commercial tire company in West Valley City. That's large truck tires. We had a recap plant and
Wow.
Did that for 34 years. And I still had an active business until I was elected mayor. And my son decided that he didn't want to further it, so we sold off our stuff, and here I am, 5 months later.
So truck tires to politics, is that like a logical jump for you?
Well, I served in the city council for 4 years.
Okay.
And that's where I got my feet wet, and I enjoyed it, and decided to run for mayor. Decided I wanted to see if I could make a change, and I knew that if I was elected, that I could no longer have my tire company.
Yeah.
So those are the consequences. But I'll tell you right now, I'm excited about being mayor, and people ask me all the time, is it stressful? Are you having fun? And you know, I actually am having fun.
Well, I mean, at the mayor level, it's so retail politics. I mean, in Washington, you're so far removed. But
Right.
here, I mean, you must be, the cliche is kissing the babies and shaking the hands.
Yeah, I guess I've been told I'm a people's mayor. I enjoy people. One thing about owning your own business, you deal with budgets, but you deal with your own budgets and you deal with your own money. And one thing I've learned is, as mayor, is I'm concerned about other people's money and their taxes that make our city go. I'm
Okay.
concerned about the city, but I'm concerned about the people and their welfare also. And we can work together and grow together, and that's the plan I want to put together. So we can grow Taylorsville, but I don't want to leave the people behind too, because that's what makes up our city.
Okay, I want to get back to that idea, but you make it sound so smooth to go from really the self-interest of a small business to service as a mayor. I mean, a lot of people don't see it that way.
Well, I guess I've dealt with administration, as I do now, with employees,
Yeah.
and you know, that's a bonus. I deal with everyday financial, collecting money when I had my own. You know, when you own your own, and you have your own money that you're responsible for, and I always think about people when I make decisions, what is good for the city and what's good for the people.
Okay.
I just don't make them quick and say, well, whatever the consequences are, I think about it. I have great help, great people that I work with, and that's what's important about my job, is I'm surrounded by great people that understand, and we work together on it.
Okay, very good. So John Taylor, I want to bring you in. You work as the Taylorsville City Administrator.
I do.
So tell me about that. Like, what do you do day by day? What's your job in the city?
Day by day is taking a lot of phone calls from residents and trying to keep him off of his desk for the problems anyway.
You're the fly catcher?
Pretty much the fly catcher.
And so tell me about calls that you get. Is this like code enforcement? Tell somebody to get that fridge out of their yard? I mean, that kind of thing?
We deal with a lot of that. We deal with emergency calls. We implement what city vision is from city council and mayor, and they'll say, here's how much we spend, here's what we want to do, go get it done. And we've got a great team of people in Taylorsville to go get things like that done.
And your position is new to the city?
No, the position itself is not new. I am new to the position with the mayor.
And so tell me about the government structure in Taylorsville. Are you city manager and a council, or you and the council as mayor?
We are a city council and mayor, and the mayor is the executive branch, and, and the council is the legislative branch.
Okay.
The difference there, We had a count the other day. I think there's 8 or 10 that are in that same Salt Lake, South Salt Lake, Sandy, but most of them are all of them vote. I don't have a vote. I have a veto.
Right.
And so if there is ever a veto, it has to be, say, 3-2. It has to be a 4-1 majority to override a veto.
So you better work with everybody.
Yeah, and believe me, I never want to use a veto, but you know what? It's basically a little protection. What if somebody goes crazy and nuts and wants something that's just out of line?
In politics?
You might, yeah.
Oh, when would that ever happen?
Yeah, I know. So it's just kind of a safeguard a little bit. Yeah. And I think it's great.
Okay.
I think it's great.
So, John, you are or used to be the treasurer as well?
No, the previous administrator's name was John also, so there's a lot, we get mixed up between the two. I worked closely with him before as well, but I am also the treasurer as well as city administrator.
Okay, is that typical?
It is, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And so what's your background to I don't know if I would call you a staff person or a political person?
I actually spent 20 years in the consulting engineering world, worked a lot with cities and municipalities, had worked with Taylorsville pretty close over the years and got to know council and have gone through a lot of political changes, but kept that vision moving forward with the city. And when this opportunity came available, decided to apply for it and see if we could make this thing work.
Is that a national search or local,
Well,
in-house?
Well, we advertised from everywhere.
Yeah.
And then we, did the process and came down and took the final 2 or 3 and selected John, and he's doing a great job.
Super.
And one other comment.
Sure.
When he talks about solving problems, every Monday we sit around John and our CFO, and we talk about things. I'm the type of mayor that wants to get things solved and wants to get things done. I don't like things procrastinating. If there's a problem or a question on something, we put that on our agenda and we get it done. The worst thing we can have as a city is we need transparency, and also we need to be able to communicate. And there's complaints. Believe me, I don't mind a complaint. In fact, I welcome people in my office. The other day, somebody said, "Well, do you want me to send somebody in with you?" And I said, "No, I think I can handle it." And I talked to him myself. And we'll get it done.
Do you get a few positives too? Do people speak up when they're happy?
Oh yeah.
Or only when they're mad?
No, I'm proud to say that I get a lot of nice things in comments. We've implemented some. Of course, maybe you're going to ask me later. We implemented some programs, graffiti programs, where we have a paint store in Taylorsville that is actually. We just let the citizens call in if they get graffitied, and they can go down and get some paint for free. The city takes care of it. We're trying to match the colors. I just want to clean the city up. Graffiti is going to happen, but you know what? We can at least soften it up a little bit, and instead of putting patchwork on, a gray wall with blue paint, I'm not all for that.
Well, I mean, you make it sound like a very small town kind of feel when you can do that. So we do need to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about some of that kind of small town feel juxtaposed against your plans for economic development.
That'd be great.
So super. So we'll be right back with more Community Roundtable with the Mayor and City Administrator of Taylorsville right here along the Wasatch Front. Keep it tuned. We'll be right back. We are back on Community Roundtable talking about Taylorsville with Mayor Larry Johnson and City Administrator John Taylor. And when we left off, we were discussing this sort of vision of how Taylorsville, I don't want to say reputation, but as Taylorsville's been built out over the years, it's kind of a bedroom community for a lot of folks. But you've got a plan for economic development. So what's in store here, and what will people see different over the coming years?
Well, when you go back to the bedroom, it used to be. I think now we're a little of a mix.
Okay.
We do have, Taylorsville has always been noted for a great place to live. I've lived there 57 years. Didn't want to move because I felt that was home. And I think a lot of it's a farmland, which I think I told you earlier that I used to farm and with my grandparents. And like I said, it's a town that and a city that has grown, and I've watched it grow. And I'm excited about it growing, but I also want to keep it to where people can want to stay in Taylorsville. We have, as far as economic development goes, let me just start out and say, and then I'll let John finish up, but we have invested a lot of money in this budget this year to upgrade our parks.
Okay.
I'm excited about upgrading our parks where we can keep our children and our families there. They can go to Taylorsville to enjoy themselves on an afternoon instead of going to the city next door to us or whatever that has a little nicer park. So we're upgrading our looks. We're upgrading some, you might call it walls that will help our economic development along Redwood Road, that will bring in, businesses like to see a nice, clean place. And we have a lot of things going in Taylorsville right now. We have, every day it seems like I get something on my desk or from my economic development director. What do you think about this, Mayor? We got an offer on this and this and this. Taylorsville right now, we have a great location there with freeway entrances, and on 54 in Redwood, it's one of the busier
busiest in the valley.
And that intersection.
And,
wow.
And we have, and I'll let John expound a little more, but we have a couple of corners there that have been vacant for a while, and now we're starting to get some real interest there, and we're excited, and we're just waiting for things to let loose.
So no firm deals in terms of what'll be built out there?
Nothing, not yet.
Okay.
We've got all the interested parties at the same table working together, and finally have a plan of what this is going to look like, and we're moving forward.
And is this an RDA kind of deal with city money involved?
Yeah, it is.
So
city
good.
And county. The county's taken a vested interest in this as well.
Okay. Very interesting. And also, speaking of traffic and speaking of busy 5400 South, Taylorsville has some of those new, what some people find kind of unusual turn lanes and so on. How's that going down?
They are. It's been an interesting process. A lot of people don't like them. A lot of people do like them. Taylorsville's that small town. It's built out. Our borders were kind of fixed on where we can go. But as people develop and a lot of people move out west and south of us, Taylorsville becomes that pass-through community. And trying to capitalize on that and not impact the residents and businesses to where we take the brunt of a road project. We've worked closely with UDOT and come up with these new fancy lights and turns and everything else. They move traffic well. We're still fighting to keep businesses so they're viable and have access and people can actually stop and visit with them.
Do you find traffic is more of a problem east-west or north-south for Taylorsville?
For Taylorsville, the traffic east-west is the bigger problem.
Okay, so 4500 south, 5400
Yes.
back and forth. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
One comment?
Go ahead.
We're about 97% built.
Okay, not much open space.
Right, and other cities have ways to go out there, and we have to look at what we have available, whether we tear it down or we remodel or whoever comes in to put something in Taylorsville.
Okay.
So our vacant buildings are a real concern of mine, and we do have some land, and we have some construction going on right now. We have a restaurant put up now, a Chick-fil-A going in, and we have some buildings, I think, on the American Express property.
Okay.
That'll be some office buildings going to be dug pretty soon.
Okay.
But we have to take care of the ones that are vacant. We have some nice pieces of property, and that's why I say we're excited for what's coming on and in the future right now.
And I mean, you mentioned also parks and beautification.
Right.
It seems to me that increasingly folks don't want to drive somewhere to work, right? There's a push towards neighborhood feel.
Correct.
Maybe walk or bike to work. I mean, we're sitting here at a television studio built on, like you say, a strawberry field from way back.
Correct.
So when it comes to demographics, is that the trend here? Do you have lots of families or more seniors? Do people want to not be moving away and want to walk to work?
Taylorsville has always had that small town feel. I think when it grew up, it was kind of away from everything, and places have built up around us, but it still has that small town feel. My wife and I moved in 20 years ago.
Wow.
Just as a starter home type thing, and we're going to move on to bigger and better, but we have gotten the family and we have got that small town. We enjoy it, and people like to stay here. Families like to stay here. So
people are growing up with the city.
They are. And it's, as you talk about the parks and the redevelopment and business that supports them, the professional, the job force that's available here is just, it's incredible. When you sit down and look at what's in Taylorsville, the professional jobs available is just great.
Give me some examples.
So we have Sorensen Research Park that has got ICU medical, that employs, it's not the bottom of the rung labor force, it's some professionals that are in there working. Salt Lake Community College is a great one. American Express, UDOT Complex, there's Nelson Laboratories. There's some really interesting medical and professional type jobs that are keeping families local and working where they live.
And you're indicative of the demographic? Younger, up-and-coming, growing families that come and stay, sounds like.
Yes, that's the trend that's happening, yes.
All right. So tell me what other ways. I mean, here we are in Taylorsville, and West Jordan here, Murray there, West Valley City. Give me some other ideas about how Taylorsville is unique compared to what's around and about.
Taylorsville is unique. We've got 2 freeways that are somewhat on our borders. We have the Jordan River Trail that runs right through.
Okay.
I-15 is just right off that limit, but we have one of the divided highways, 4500 South, that's unique to the valley. It's that old farm type feel when you come to Taylorsville. We're working with Bus Rapid Transit. We don't have the TRAX line, which makes you more of that metropolitan feel, but we have the amenities to be able to take bus and Bus Rapid Transit and those types of things to serve the large employment centers. We've got a lot of people coming into the city.
Okay. Are the long-term residents going to be happy with more bus traffic, or are they going to feel like that's changing the city too much?
That's yes and no. Some will be happy with it, and some won't be happy
Good
with
answer,
it.
good answer, right. Can't make everybody happy all the time. Speaking, you mentioned UTA earlier, and you mentioned 4500 South, and it's got that division. My understanding is there's plans for like a TRAX or a rapid dedicated bus down the middle of that road.
Plans for Bus Rapid Transit.
Okay,
and
explain that to folks.
So that is, it's a dedicated bus route where instead of the bus stops, you end up with a platform like a TRAX station. And what's unique about Bus Rapid Transit is you can either run right in the travel lane with traffic, or where possible, you dedicate a lane so it can move around, jump through intersections, and beat some of those congested points that we have throughout the city.
Okay, very good. We need to do another quick break, but when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about what's new and what's coming for Taylorsville. So keep it tuned to Community Roundtable. We'll be back and talk more about Taylorsville right here in Utah. Thanks. We are back on Community Roundtable talking with John Taylor, City Administrator here, and also with Mayor Larry Johnson here in Taylorsville. And tell me some ways that Taylorsville is, other ways rather, that Taylorsville is unique from some of the cities around. I mean, I know we've got this campus, but what else is new and different and unusual here? We have a lot of people who come into Taylorsville for employment, or the college. Okay. That a lot of cities don't necessarily have. We talked about some of the businesses that were in Taylorsville. They're not just 8 to 5 businesses. It happens all day long. They're 24-hour operations. This college is one of the larger campuses, community campuses in the valley that people in and out. And so we've had some unique challenges to be able to help people get in here and then provide the services they need while they're here as well. So, I mean, that's right back to traffic. It is. Okay. It really is, without affecting that hometown backyard. The backyards end up taking the brunt of those new innovative solutions. So for you two in city government and elected politics, how do you balance sort of a long-term vision with what I see as most voters are just here now, gimme today, and what's up today? How do you convince people to actually think ahead and look ahead? Well, I think what you do as a city and make things, let people know what you're doing as far as making it a family type city also. You know, growing up here, like I told you, for 57 years I've lived here, Taylorsville is a very tight community, and I'm so proud to be part of it, and excited that the job that I have in front of me, because we all are kind of a family, and I think I told you before, there's just a lot of people that have been here for years and taking care of the fields and sugar beet factories that we used to take all our stuff to and all our product, but they've stayed here. My children have all stayed in Taylorsville. Oh, wow. And as I said, I went to Kearns High School, and my kids all went to Taylorsville and junior high at Valley Junior High and things like that, and this is where they want to be, and there's just a lot of people that want to be here because they feel this is home. Okay. Do you see a need, or is there a need for more schools? Or do you have a blossoming kid population here as well? Yes, well, let's talk about schools just for a minute.
I think, I haven't seen any stats on that, but I think our schools are adequate. Sure, they always complain about the overcrowding. I've really got involved in that in the schools.
Okay.
I've set up a little program with Eating Better. Went back to Washington D.C. and I just like kids. I like I've talked to assemblies in elementary schools, 400 or 500 elementary kids about we put a little lettuce growing Miracle Grow pod in their classes, and I go and talk to them, and I just really enjoy that, and I also enjoy the senior centers, and I get out and I just feel like I need to be part of the city, and that's me.
Okay.
But if we all work together and they know that we're concerned about them, guess what? We're gonna flourish.
I mean, it's that face-to-face thing, right?
That's right.
Not being distant.
That's right.
So you're out there with the schools and the senior centers, but John, you're on the phone all day.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say I'm on the phone all day. We try and meet with people.
Yeah. Well, you were saying
yes.
you get the calls. One thing that Taylorsville has that I think is really kind of cool is your journal, the Taylorsville City Journal, that my understanding is both email and hard copy.
Right.
So tell me about that. It's like your own personal brand journalism newspaper.
Let me start with that. At the first year when I was, sworn in as mayor, we had lost the journal, that the Kernel Journal. They actually were sold out and bought out. So we had to hunt for another one. So we finally got our own, and it's called the Taylorsville Journal. And this journal, we need transparency in government. We always have people say, we don't know what's going on. So now we have really, with the help of our PIO gal, Tiffany, we've had great comments. I think 3 months we've had our own paper out now. We have articles from the fire, from the how to grow the garden, Eagle projects. We want to take in everything, and we want people to spotlight people. I even have a section, a mayor's choice of businesses. When we go back to economic development, I'm a real believer of we need to retain the businesses we have. Being in self-employed for so many years, it took a long time to get companies to come and buy tires, you might say, but you can lose them overnight.
Yeah. We
need to retain what we got and gain. We don't want to have a negative. We want a positive growing all the time, and this is my goal, is to get out, see them, and when a business moves in, make it so that we say, what can we help you? Instead of telling them 9, 10 things they need to do, we need to say, what can we help you to make it a smooth yeah.
I mean, that's quite a balancing act. I mean, you don't want a Walmart or a Target or something to come in and then kill all your local businesses who've been here forever.
Right. And small businesses is what keeps us going too.
I mean, that's
you
the balance.
like the big box stuff, but we have to protect the ones because everybody's trying to get them to move here and move there and whatever. But we got to make it friendly, business friendly in Taylorsville.
Okay. I mean, this little Taylorsville Journal, I don't mean to overly say it's little, but this little small newspaper that you have, who publishes that, and is that run like a business? Do you expect to make a profit?
Yeah, John, go ahead.
We don't expect to make a profit. It costs the city to have that done. It's a private, nonprofit business at this point, group that is taking care of that for us. They are their own newspaper entity, so they run their own stories, but what they've done in teaming up with the city is they give the city an insert of anywhere from 2 to 8 pages that they let us slip inside there, so we just solely dedicated to city government.
Okay, so it's a separate entity, and then you share mailing address and email lists.
And
we've
also teamed up with the Chamber of Commerce to help get businesses for better advertising. And so if you're part of the chamber, you get in advertising a little cheaper.
I mean, I know the Valley Journals used to do that. If you would advertise in the Valley Journal, then they'd do a business spotlight story. Right. Yeah.
Yep.
We've made it a paper where people actually tell me they read the whole paper now, and just instead of one page.
That's a miracle.
Yeah.
Somebody's reading the paper.
Yeah.
Love it.
And they turn every page because everything is from one thing to another, and if there's I had a call the other day from a lady that her young daughter did something special, and I said, why don't you call us and we'll put it in there, and that picture, and people are really interested, and I am too, because it shows that we're concerned. And we want to let them know what's going on. We advertise our Taylorsville days
Yeah.
in there, and they know with a schedule, and it's just nice. They feel like they're part of the city.
Anybody else doing that kind of thing around here? Any other cities doing this?
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Okay,
They are.
just
Yeah.
wondered. So we've only got about a minute left, so can you give me a quick vision for future?
Future of Taylorsville
Yeah.
is bright. It's very
Okay.
bright, in my opinion. I'm excited. I'm excited to be the mayor. I'm excited to go forward. I'm excited that I have great people to work with. And you know, when you have that and you have some excitement in your job, because some jobs get awful, you know, and I don't mind the challenge. I've had challenges for years, and I just want the city of Taylorsville to grow along with the people, and we can do it together.
And you're going to run again?
Well, I've only been in for
Okay,
6
just
months.
checking. Yeah, it's politics. Okay,
Yeah.
well, we're going to have to leave it there, but I want to thank you both. John Taylor, City Administrator, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Mayor Larry Johnson,
Thank you.
very
Thank
much. Thank you for joining us on Community Roundtable. Maybe you have a comment, maybe you have a question, maybe you have an idea for a show that you think we should do. Get in touch with us. Our email address, roundtable@slcctv.com. I'm Nick Burns, and hey, keep it tuned, SLCC TV.